Hi friends, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to do another maintenance video on our 2022 Santa Fe. Now, our Santa Fe is the calligraphy trim, which means it does have the 2.5 liter turbocharged engine. That means that we just get a little bit extra carbon buildup over time. Given that we have 26,000 miles on the engine from the factory, it is now time to do some of that carbon cleaning. What we're going to use is the STP Pro Series intake valve cleaner. This will enable one person to get the job done. Now, our dealer, our service technician, they have not recommended carbon cleaning on our vehicle yet, but we have noticed a slow downtick in fuel economy. What this is going to do is help boost that fuel economy back up to where it should be. And while we don't necessarily know what the dealership would charge you to do this, you can do it yourself. We did pick up our STP Pro Series cleaner from AutoZone and it was less than 50 bucks. So following the instructions and handy video that STP puts out on this product, we're going to start by idling the engine for about 5 minutes and just making a note of what our idle RPM actually is. Now, because we are idling the engine with the hood up, we're getting a warning on our dash instead of our tachometer. You can have the tachometer display just by pressing the down on your steering wheel. Now that our engine has idled for approximately 5 minutes, it's fairly warm, and we were also to notate that our idle speed is approximately 700 to 800 RPM. Now, the next step is going to be identifying your throttle body. I actually looked up a couple engine diagrams for this, but I will go ahead and show you where it is in our 2.5 turbo. You can start by identifying your air intake, where your air filter goes in, past the MAV, along the air intake hose, and it's actually tucked up on the back side of the engine. So the bolt that we'll be accessing in order to put in our cleaner is right here. It happens to be a 10mm bolt with a Phillips tip on the end. We're going to use a 10mm box wrench to loosen this and pull off this intake hose sleeve. So we ran into a little bit of a hiccup. We were unable to pull off that sleeve, leaving the entire air intake hose intact. So what we did was we segmented the air intake hose, taking off the pieces that we could, in order to give us better leverage to actually pull off the sleeve. It is very tight coming in from the factory. Clearly this has not been pulled off since it was put on. When we go to use the STP intake valve cleaner product, we will be plugging it in to where it needs to go, reassembling everything before turning it on. Now for the fun part, actually getting to use the product. As you can see, it comes with a long flexible hose that has an aluminum sleeve on the end to protect it from that gasket, a little hook to hang the can up. So for the instructions, it just says to insert the end inside the throttle body sleeve and reattach all of the air intake. One very important lesson learned on these 2.5 liter turbocharged Hyundai engines is we have to skip a step provided by STP. The step where it says to tighten down the aluminum sleeve with the intake hose on the throttle body, don't do it. What we highly recommend you do for these Hyundai vehicles is to remove the rubber gasket off that intake sleeve, insert the STP aluminum sleeve with the can, reinsert the air intake sleeve without the rubber gasket and gently tighten it down to hold it in place. From there, you can go ahead and tighten the rest of the air intake hoses and make sure that you have the can shaken, spin the red dial, and turn the blue tip at the top. One person still can do this. Art and I did it in tandem simply because we ran into the problem of we tightened everything down and pinched that aluminum sleeve shut. You absolutely want to make sure that you're not doing that. It would be incredibly helpful to have a second person to make sure that when your countdown timer hits 0, product is actually flowing through the clear hose while somebody is in the vehicle maintaining that RPM speed. So learn from our mistakes. Do not tighten anything onto the throttle body too tight, or this aluminum sleeve absolutely will get pinched off and you will get no product into your air intake. Now, after much sweating and grunting, we got everything as installed as we possibly can. Next up, we're going to be turning the red dial, followed by the blue dial, and within 1 minute, turning on the engine and revving it up to 3 times our idle speed. So if you recall, our idle speed was about 700 to 800 RPM. So when our engine is running, we're going to be holding that rev for 9 minutes at about 2400 RPM. So let's get started. All right, after you've ensured that you've used all of the product and you've shut the engine off, it might be beneficial to let things cool down before you button it up. After it's all buttoned up, what you need to do is go for a test drive. Go for a drive, 10 to 15 minutes, preferably at highway speeds, maintaining a higher RPM. This will ensure that all of the cleaning product gets removed and burned off out of the engine and complete out the cleaning process. We hope this video has helped you. We hope that this video has saved you a lot of headaches and helped you improve the fuel economy in your 2.5T Hyundai engine. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you next time.